talking about the US gold, we've also had a conversation earlier, and I want to put this as a disclaimer. This is speculation about the gold reserves that are held in obviously the Fort Knox, that famously Elon Musk was making a whole fuss about it. We haven't heard ever since then anything about this audit. And the gold at the New York Fed, and with just a few pictures that will be also shown. What is your theory about that? And like I said, speculation.
Speculation from our side. When you study the history of Fort Knox and you study the history of the Federal Reserve holdings in New York, in Fort Knox, the US gold holdings are stored. Over 8,000 tons of US gold should be stored in Fort Knox. The gold held for sovereign countries like the Netherlands or Germany, that's all stored with the Federal Reserve in New York. We have this awkward situation that all requests in the last decades to be able to audit, to check or to see the gold stored in Fort Knox were always met by lots of stonewalling. There was the last full audit of Fort Knox was in 1954. The last visit by members of Congress to Fort Knox was in 1974. If you study pictures from this visit to Fort Knox from 1974, you see these pictures with all this gold stored in a very unusual way. If you compare that to pictures of other central banks, how they store their gold, you see it's like a facade. They show you a room filled with gold, but it's not in the normal, traditional way how you store physical gold. Then if you look at the situation at the Federal Reserve in New York stores gold for countries like Germany and the Netherlands. There's only one picture available of the gold stored in the Federal Reserve. You see an open vault door, and again, a facade of gold. You can't look into the room, you can't look into the vault. And if you study that picture, it's clearly built like an Hollywood facade. You show the whole vault is filled with gold, but you can't actually look into that vault. And again, if you compare that with pictures of the traditional way gold is stored by central banks, you see, well, for me, it's another indication of all the tricks being played by the US in this war on gold.